Hi, I'm Doug Young here for Peghead Nation. In this course, we're going to be talking about alternate tunings, and we're going to walk through a lot of common alternate tunings, maybe some uncommon alternate tunings. We're going to learn a lot of tunes, but probably most importantly, we're going to try to understand how alternate tunings work and how you can make sense of them so that you can perhaps arrange your own tunes, or if you want to explore an alternate tuning that's different than the one that the ones that we're going to be teaching, you'll be able to leverage the things that you learn in this course for that as well. But of course, you'll learn many of the typical and popular alternate tunings in this course. You may be wondering why, why do alternate tunings in the first place? Definitely, if you're like me, you've spent way too many years trying to learn the fretboard in standard tuning. We learn chords, we learn scales. You've tried to make sense of the neck in standard tuning, and now somebody comes along and says, well, why don't we just change all the strings and make it into some kind of alternate tuning? And why do we want to do that? It sounds like a lot of work. Well, the main reason that you'd want to do that is to get some different sounds. And, on the guitar, you're limited a little bit compared to, say, the piano. On a piano, you've got 10 fingers and a whole keyboard that you can reach. On the guitar, we've got 6 strings, we've got 4 fingers, and we've got a reach that, probably limited to, if you really want to stretch, 5 or 6 frets, but most of the time 3 or 4 is more practical. And typically, as soon as you start putting fingers down, you can play certain notes, certain sounds, but other things you might not be able to. And so if we want to get a particular sound that isn't available in standard tuning, we can retune some strings until we do get those sounds. So it's different flavored chords, different kinds of sounds that you can't get. Also, in some cases, you want to make things easier. And easier, some people will say, well, you're making it easier, that's cheating. Well, it's not really about, athletic prowess on the guitar. It's about trying to play musically. And if by making things a little bit easier to play, you can play more musically or play something more interesting, then I think that's an okay trade-off. So let's look at it. Just look at an example. Here's something that's actually pretty difficult to play in standard tuning. It's a very close voicing chord. And in standard tuning, that would have to be, it would have to be like so. That's a pretty nasty chord to play. But here, I'm in Peghead tuning at the moment. So that's a fairly easy chord to play, and yet it's fairly complex sounding. You also get a lot of kind of pretty chords somewhat for free in a lot of alternate tunings. For example, I might play a C, just part of a C chord, like so. And it's just this really nice, beautiful chord, or a nice G chord that I can play with 2 fingers. You get some very interesting chord voicings that you might not get in standard tuning, at least as easily. In a lot of these tunings as well, you can end up with some very simple fingerings. In Peghead, for example, we can play 1, 4, and 5 chords with 1 finger. And that makes things pretty easy, but also frees up the other fingers for playing melodies. So these are all just reasons that we might want to go to an alternate tuning.